Welcome to Three Slips and all the silly points. Given the way the last game's gone, none of us are in the slip because no one can catch in the slip anymore. We're all out in the wild.
So that's why we have no silly
Just
points, just
sad
sad
points.
points.
Exactly.
Just sad
Just
points. It's
sad
just,
points.
oh
Yep.
my God.
This is it. It's the dark night, sir. It's the dark night.
Oh my God.
Not the Batman Dark Knight. It's just
I'm going to tan for no reason on the last day. I'm all tanned out for no reason. No
Indian
reason.
cricket dark night.
well, it's dark year now. End of year.
Oh my God.
The script writer is out. There's no one writing the script anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
The news is South Africa's qualified, so we'll talk about that game in a while. And India's pretty much out. I mean, let's be honest, the way we've gone so far, we've got no hope in Sydney either now.
Don't deserve it.
Yeah. I think rather than hope, we don't deserve a spot in WTC finals.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no way. The way Australia played, they absolutely smoked
yeah.
us, and they probably will win the finals too. Let's be honest. Yeah, go on, Chai. Tell us more about this game. I got nothing.
Oh, well, the bright side of this game is in the two combined innings, I think this is the most number of overs India has played in this entire test series.
That's not a
The
bright
previous
side.
previous best was the first game where we won. After that, I think we barely touched 100 or 110 overs across both innings.
Yeah.
Now, that's probably the only key highlight. Now there's one more. Nitish Reddy and his 100
There's one more.
is another key takeaways from this game. I mean, I just want to get rid of all the good points at the start because I still want to get into the bashing mode pretty soon. Right? Nitish Reddy.
And also that partnership helped us quite a bit.
Nitish and Washington.
Partnership was very,
took the game into day 5, or else it would have been a wrap up end of day 4 itself. But Nitish,
to be honest, I'd have preferred that over what happened. I've been way less affected by the game than what's actually panned out.
Yeah.
Man, a whole day. Like just a whole day. We were chatting while going to the game. I'm like, these are the possible suggestions, and literally it was a draw. Draw was most likely. Well, again, on paper should have been most likely. India wins because it was just past, like, what was it, 90 overs, right? Just past greater than a one-dayer, like 330 runs greater than a one-dayer. So it's doable. Like, it's not like India hasn't reached 300 in a ODI. Then third one was Australia win. And then I was like, nope, flip the script. Flip it. Oh my God. It was, it hurt a lot.
The chase went out the window as soon as we were 3 down after 30 runs after the first session. After that, it was barricade down. Let's just survive the 2 sessions and we'll be all good, which they did so well. And that's where my problem comes in. They made the bowling, like the hardest session was session 2 when the ball was relatively new, and they played that with no wickets.
Yeah. And that sets the hope, at least, all right, the win was out of the door at the end of session 1. Draw was, going into tea, I'm like, all right, we're heading into a draw, which is decent, and the usual brain calculations.
It's a win for India.
If we draw this game and we manage to draw the next one, and I started talking about all these permutation combinations going into tea, right? A good 20-minute tea session, and I'm like, oh my God. and then come post-tea session, again, not sure why that shot was on the cards. If the whole intention was to play for a draw, which was quite evident at the end of session 2, why was that loose shot come up?
The thing is, if you watch the game from the Australian point of view, the field was spread out. They were defending runs so that the game doesn't go anywhere. And all they did was play 15 to 20 more overs, and Australia would have shook hands and been like, "Yep, there's no point in this game anymore."
And not only the field was spread out, it was also Australians protecting their pacers. So they bought and spin on both ends. There was Travis Head and Nathan Lyon. This was essentially giving
Mm.
pace bowlers a break. New ball was not due for at least 30 overs from tee. So they were like, no point. I don't think we'll see the new ball. Let's get spinners in. Let's, protect our pacers. Their mindset was essentially coming in. All right, it's a headed to a draw. Let's go for a draw.
But that was one of it.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
That was one, and then second
No,
was.
no, you got it. You're back. No.
Am I still out? Yeah. So that was one, and it was a hot day, no doubt. So this compared to day one was much, much hotter because day one was a bit more overcast. So like that was okay, but this was a struggle. The other one, actually throughout about 70% of the game, Australia was actually 5 overs behind the over rate.
Randeep, you're out again. Yeah,
I'm out again.
You're mute again.
Yeah.
Better. Yeah. So the other one was the over rate. They were actually majority of the game. They were about 5 overs behind, and that I was talking to my friend. I'm like, I know they'll catch up because we've got bowlers who can just go left right, but they were behind the over rate. So one was for that also.
I think again one key player that changed the game or two players that turned events in both the innings. One is Virat Kohli, both in first innings and second innings, him getting out at crucial instance. The second person is Rishabh Pant, right? Him playing, unwanted. I mean, yes, he's a hero from our last BGT, but things were quite different. The pitch was the circumstances were quite different. Last BGT you had Pujara, you had Rahane, you had Gill, you had Vihari, you had a list of players that were scoring runs, that were bringing game.
Even when they weren't scoring runs, they were absorbing balls. Like they were playing so many balls that the bowlers were already tired.
Yeah, so they were setting things up for Rishabh for him to play his natural game. But in this series, the things are quite different, especially in this test. The swing or swing of momentum is so much. You lose a wicket. It's not just for Indians. It was also for Aussies. They lost a wicket and they lost wickets in a cluster straight after that. You get one, you get two or three more back to back.
Yep.
And if you see, that's probably one of those things that Labuschagne tried to counter quite a bit, saying, okay, I'm not going to throw away my wicket. I'm just going to put a prize on this and I'm just hold on to Pujara, right? Which I think India lacked big time. Jaiswal was trying to survive or anchor on one side of the inning or one side of the wicket, but we were losing wickets in cluster. And after you've played out a whole innings, a whole session without losing a wicket, you're heading towards a draw. Yes, it's a loose, short pitch ball by a spinner, not at a pace. If your mindset is to draw, exactly,
the field set for you to not do exactly that. You can just play along the ground, pierce the gap, get a 4.
Yeah. Talking about field sets, have you seen all the comparisons going on? I don't know if you guys have caught up. The field set that Australians pushed when we had last 1 or 2 wickets to go to what we were placing for Lyon and Boland.
It was so bad. But again, look, it's a different thing altogether because Australia had the upper hand of knowing that our players going for a bigger shot is way high risk for them relative to what India would have gone through if the high risk shot makes it through, because we would lose runs, whereas on the other side we would lose the game. So the risk appetite for Indians was way lower than for the Aussie players, and that's probably why we couldn't attack as hard. And look, I also think when the 11 batters, like the number 11 batter came in, our bowlers were just knackered. Like the potency in the bowling was not there. And you saw what happened exactly. The next day morning, they couldn't last more than 2 overs.
Yeah.
It just happens like when you've been bowling the whole day.
Exactly. The other key player I mean, this guy is now in both good books and bad books. Jaiswal. He scored 80 odd runs in both first innings and second innings and becomes, I think in the history, he
Yeah,
becomes
first
the,
player since 1925 or something.
yeah, some ridiculous long time where a visiting player scored over 75 runs in both
No,
innings. So
visiting opener.
visiting opener, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like
he's done. He's scored decent runs,
Oh, okay.
but he's dropped
Yeah.
Khwaja, which was straight. He's dropped Labuschagne, who was on 46. Those addition that
because
was
the
big
thing,
wicket.
dropping Labu wasn't just that he added 30 more runs after the drop. It was that he also shielded Cummins from facing Bumrah for the massive part of the innings,
Yeah,
and he also
yeah,
added 40 odd runs.
yeah. So all in all, had that drop, I was thinking of at least 80 to 100 runs would have been saved from the score because yeah, Labu would have not added 30 runs, which means Cummins
Yeah.
had to now face the heat of Bumrah, who was in a very good rhythm, and also not just Cummins, but also Stark and Lyon and Boland would have faced um, Bumrah when he was in that flow. So uh, things could have been much different, but this guy has, and also the other catch uh, at the front to the spinner. Technically, it's a tough call where it was a low catch it was
No,
just standing
that
in
should
front
have
of
been
the
taken. It wasn't a low catch. It should have been
No,
taken.
no, no, but
Because
yeah.
if you look at what Rohit
yeah.
Sharma told him in the first innings, we have it on recording that
Yeah,
hey
yeah,
man,
yeah,
you're standing at silly point. You
Yes.
need to stay low, stay
yeah,
low. And if you look at the catch that he
Stay low.
dropped,
Yeah.
he was not low. He already stood up and then he had to go back down,
yeah.
and that's why he dropped
Yeah.
it.
And yet,
So yeah, and that's why I said he's on both good books and bad books at the same time.
But I feel like
Uh,
to me that's been the biggest difference. Let's forget the silly shot from Bunt right? Because Bunt always plays like that, right? Um, people always say
yeah, but
catches win
Bunt
matches.
that.
How many catches did Australia drop in the second
Mm.
innings?
None. No, none. But India dropped. I think
No,
Siraj,
none.
was it Siraj who
Yeah,
dropped
yeah, the
another
11th,
another catch?
bowl.
Yeah, and
It
then
was the easiest catch. I,
the no-ball
I,
city
I
of
can back, I
Jasprit.
can back every single one of us to catch that catch. Look,
Yeah.
no ball wicket doesn't really count for us because they didn't even score, I think, 10 runs after that.
Mm.
And look, I think Bumrah's deserved that one mishap after how he's bowled.
Yeah.
Not just in this game, the whole series. Like
How
if Bumrah
Yeah.
isn't part of this squad, India doesn't even come close to
No,
competing
no.
with
Yeah.
anyone in this whole series.
Yeah.
Like I
I
always feel like
was
the way Bumrah's been going, he's like a cheat code for India. He is. He like, literally is. He's a cheat code for India, where whenever they need a wicket, whenever a wicket falls, they just bring on Bumrah, and here's a cluster that's going to come after it.
Yeah. I was looking at
Yeah.
Bumrah's numbers. In this series, Australians have lost 67 wickets in total in 8 innings so far, and Bumrah's got 30 of those.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
a massive 40% of the wickets.
That
The
is
only
nuts.
closest that I could ever think of was back in that 2001 series where Harbhajan got 32 odd wickets in a 3-test series against Australia. So he's in peak of his form. I mean, his numbers show that he's got over 71 wickets in this calendar year, and the close contender has not even hit 50. So he's miles ahead.
I mean, I think he's averaging like 11 or
You know what it
12
felt
this
like
season.
for me?
Yeah, which is pretty good.
He's nuts.
The other key player I think we have to talk is Rohit Sharma and his form.
You mean the non-key player, or you mean key player for Australia?
What are the other form of key player? Thoughts about Rohit. He's shuffled himself up the order, down the order. Um, you know, Gill was dropped from the game to accommodate I'm going to say not to accommodate Sundar, but to accommodate Rohit Sharma into the squad.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Rahul, who was in sublime form as an opener, had to be pushed to one down. And I don't know if you caught up the audio recording of Nathan Lyon asking at the end, in the first innings when Rohit got out, Rahul comes in and Nathan asks, "What have you done to come one down?"
The question is,
Did he say that?
did he really come one down?
Oh my God.
No, he did. He was pushed. He basically opened the innings straight away, right? He was just delayed by 2 overs.
Oh,
so it's open.
Yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
let's not blame anyone now. So I feel like pushing Gill out and bringing in Washi, I feel like has had no impact on the game. You know why? Actually, do you know what? Actually, it's been a positive impact because till now Gill hadn't even scored a half century.
And Washi scored a half century.
And Washi didn't score a half century. He also allowed Nitish to get to a century. And Washi got a wicket. So he gave us way more value than whatever Gill would have given us.
Yeah.
And Rohit's just been Rohit, where I think he's literally just looking for confidence, nothing else. To me, the bigger player that's a miss is Virat. He actually looks like he's in form. He actually looks like he can score runs. He was locked in.
The first innings,
he was locked in.
What he did there was amazing.
And he looked all
was on
to perform it.
And same thing for innings number 2. He looked like he was in. But again, that fourth stump, right? That his nemesis, fourth, fifth stump came again.
Just leave that ball.
Yeah.
How hard is it?
Apparently, a video came out. Again, people are really good at just posting videos the second the game is done. So after the loss, he went straight into the nets. Kohli, after the loss, like obviously whatever team huddle and everything, he went straight back into the nets. I think before the fire
he wants. He needs to leave that ball.
Probably, yeah.
Just stop touching it.
Correct.
Like
he still
can
needs
do whatever nets you want. Just leave that ball.
Yeah. You know what? For me, it felt like this whole day, right? Because I was very confident that we can still out.
No, he's on mute again.
Wait, I have absolutely no idea. We're gonna have some trouble with this episode. It's gonna be. No, for me, what it felt like this was like the Sachin era team where
I think
it was always just that feeling like, hey,
we
one
gotta
will
do a
off,
big
we'll be okay,
drastic
or
change
just
to
like
the
one or two
squad to
players that
shake
can be
up the
performing.
squad. And like I was calling out yesterday in our chat, new year, let's set a new precedence to the squad. You got Jarrell sitting there. You got Sarfaraz, who's warming up the bench. You got Gill. So maybe this is probably the time to sort of throw a new spanner into the woods, into the mix.
To be honest, I think this might be. I don't know for Kohli, but this Sydney Test might be the last Test for Rohit.
5 months.
Given he's 37, we don't have a Test planned for like.
After WTC, India is going to play 5 Tests against England.
It's fucking WTC. But that's like
in May.
next year.
In May, WTC is in May
after the IPL,
at the start of May, and this is towards the end of May. In England.
In England, yeah. In England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the next 6 months, there's no Test planned for them anyway. And I don't think
and this is me, right? If that's how we are, if everyone's looking at Rohit Sharma, why not quit straight after? Do a Dhoni, man. Do a Dhoni. Dhoni did the same, right?
It wouldn't look good because we've already had Ash doing it. Right? Yeah, but you can't do a Dhoni because Ash already did a Dhoni. We can't have multiple people just leaving mid-series because it actually look like we're
isn't that true?
And that's why people are just like dropping like flies.
Your audience code. We are defeated.
The team.
It doesn't.
Team morale. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? But from this point onward, it's all about mental. Like, and there's a decent chance Rohit is mentally still like feeling all good, and he still probably feels like he can, show his skills with the bat. And I think, to be honest, like I said earlier, I don't think Sharma is the bigger problem. For me, the problem is Virat Kohli. Because let's assume Sharma's struggling for confidence, right? Okay, we can help him bring that back. But the fundamental problem with Kohli is that sexy-looking ball. So I think that's the issue we need to address, because that man is in form. You can tell when he's playing, he looks comfortable, he looks confident. He just needs to stop touching that ball outside off, because the whole world knows how to get him out if he doesn't stop leaving. And that ball's not even a lethal ball. It's not like there's a judgmental era of like, hey, if he leaves and he'll get bowled. It's way outside off. Yeah. So for me, the bigger problem is Kohli and not Sharma. Yeah, go on.
No, I'm still trying to make sure my audio is working. No, I look. I think I'd give it to Rohit. I think that's a bigger pain point for me as compared to Kohli, because the glimpse he showed for me, Kohli, the glimpse he showed in the first innings and a little bit on the second innings before he got out was really good. I'm like, oh, we've got that, like the original fiery Kohli, right? Rohit is harder to sell at the moment. It's very hard at the moment. His captaincy, again, like there's been a lot of videos and stuff. It's like, oh, there's a very passive captaincy. He's not, he kind of gave it away to Kohli, like give it in. Whatever that was, that worked, right? Because they did rattle them, minus the last wicket. But I would give Rohit to just be like, hey, let's have a chat and punt.
Okay. Now that we have on the day of recording, which is 31st of December, the next test task starts in 3 days. No
break for the bowlers. I'm really hoping Bumrah is
and it's not just this test, but also the upcoming Champions Trophy, which is less than 45 days to kick off. So we also need Bumrah plays a key role even in that ODI squad. So you got to protect him, give him enough break in between, but not so much that he needs a bit of a starter leading into Champions Trophy. 15th of Feb, if I'm not 15th or 17th of February.
When does that start? Oh, yeah. I reckon they should send Rohit Sharma to play some domestic cricket.
I'll just play the BBL for a while.
He needs a longer stint than BBL.
I just have to fly
far. The bowlers are gonna rip through him. He needs a longer stint than BBL. I'm sure the bowlers are gonna rip through him straight away.
Oh my god! Yeah, 3 days. I don't know if it's a huge enough rest for Bumrah, because
the good thing is
overcooked him.
He's had a rest on the last day of the game as well, so he technically the good thing is so day 5 of the game. Had a rest on the last day of the game as well, so he technically getting 4 days. So day 5 of the game, he was resting, so which is good. So he's getting 4 days. Oh well. I think so not expecting any surprises for the 5th test. So pretty much see through, because this is now going to define who's going to retain the BGT. And if Australia manages to pull a win or a draw, they get their hands on BGT after 10 long years.
Yeah, I really don't want that. Like, I really need India to just draw the series. I don't see it happening, just because, like, mentally they'll be so down after this defeat.
Yeah.
But they need to find a way to just stick it out and win. This is going to be their best suited place to play. I really hope the weather copes. I've checked. It looks like we'll still have a full game, because I think only one day has a bit of rain in it.
Just for all the numbers and calculations, if Australia wins the next test, India is out straight away. We're done and dusted from WTC. If
what's the
India
math
loses
now though? Like
the
I think it's a pretty
Sydney
slim
Test,
chance,
we
right?
are out. Australia and South Africa see through it. If India,
Yeah.
yeah, if India
No, but
wins,
I'm pretty sure even if India
Australia
wins,
have to
there's a bit of
win
math.
at least one of the two tests in against Sri Lanka. If Sri Lanka, so it if India wins, Australia has to win one of their two remaining tests. If India loses, then the rest of the games are just formality. We know that Australia is going to play South Africa in WTC finals. Hey, talking about WTC finals and South Africa, they've been a dark horse, quietly snuck into WTC finals, and they're qualifying the top on the table as well.
Yeah. So I feel like they had no chance until India opened the gate by losing 3-0 to New Zealand. And then they were like, yep, from here onwards, we don't believe in losing. We got this. And I mean, they also had all their games at home. The remaining games were all at
Yeah.
home, so that made it easier. But again, I think winning a test match is always hard, right? So
Yeah.
doing it consecutively so many times against like various different
The
oppositions. And Pakistan
second
also came
innings, they
very
needed
close to
50 odd
beating
runs at
England.
the last two wickets, which
Crazy.
a lot of them, and with the way the bowler Abbas was bowling, he hasn't played a test for nearly 3-4 years. And then comes in, takes a 6-4 in the last innings, and gets so close to securing a win for Pakistan.
Yeah, I mean,
I
always
it
thought it
was
was Pakistan's game
I
to
think
lose.
the last two players, Rabada and who else? They just stuck. They just anchored and Marco Jensen. They just played. It's
Yeah,
as if
Rabada and him.
I mean, the way the whole South African squad turned up to the test itself. Now we spoke about the momentum sort of in favor of Pakistan after 3-0 whitewash, and this is pretty much the same team that rocked up. Minor, there were very few couple of changes here and there, but the way they stuck together and then the entire momentum changed.
Go on, Andeep.
I got nothing to say. They made it to the final. They made it to the final. There was I watched bits of it, which was just like nuts. They made it to the final. I'm still reeling. I lost. You're on mute, Raj. Yeah. Plus, I don't want to cause anyone trouble for this episode. I was just like, no, but it's good on them. But
Nice. Yes.
No, I was just gonna say, I think Aiden Markram and Tempa Bavuma, even though their contributions were not, I mean, both of them, I think Markram scored a decent 89 in the first innings and gave them a good start. In the second innings, Tempa Bavuma scored a decent chunk of runs. Mainly, if you look at the second innings perspective, he's the highest scorer with 40. One, it was a really gutsy call to declare. Not declare. Gutsy call to sort of get the number of chasing 150, losing so many quick wickets. Yet Markram and Bavuma sort of played their natural game. They did not sort of go full on defense, right? And despite that, they somehow, Rabada did a magic. And interesting and surprising, Rabada, exactly. Everyone were playing there. Let's see through the game, we can slowly rotate. And Rabada comes and like, what are you guys talking? This is T20 arena, right? 31 of 26. Probably that was the need of the hour, just to break the shackles break, the momentum that Pakistan was carrying in. But yeah, at nearing 48 or 49 runs and 2 wickets to go, it was game set and done for Pakistan. But somehow, magically, miraculously, South Africa pulls one. Maybe is this the signs that they are no longer gonna be jinxing themselves? They're gonna get WTC? Time's gonna tell.
I mean, if it's Australia v sorry, South Africa,
and I think, given this
Africa.
is going to be in a neutral venue, Lords, and it probably is going to suit both the teams equally from both bowling and batting perspective.
I don't know. I think it's advantage to South Africa. Surely the conditions are closer to South Africa than in Australia, where it's like hot and dry. Yeah. But again,
absolutely right, and especially when they were not contenders, they're still going through a whole bunch of permutation combinations. I think these are the conditions that the Australians strive in, right? They bring up their A game when odds are against them.
Yeah. And we've got one other fun game to talk about, which is Zimbabwe and Afghanistan. Run fest. Yeah. 586 by Zimbabwe. And then Afghanistan's all right, we can show you what we can do. And they just kept betting. And they just batted forever. We got 699 runs. And eventually the match was a draw because, again, both teams were just like, we'll just keep scoring runs.
Interesting part is they scored this many number of runs despite almost 3/4 to a day of a game being held up due to rain. So I'm just imagining if there was no rain, imagine the number of runs. If there was no rain, it was getting close.
Then we would have had a result if there wasn't any rain.
We've had 4 centurions, 2 double centurions. Afghanistan players. Who was this? Rahmat Shah and Hasmatullah Shahidi played out a whole freaking day. Right? They scored a decent 300-odd partnership. They broke multiple records. And it was an absolute run fest. We had 3 different. All 3 games started pretty much around Boxing Day. We had India, Australia that went to day 5, and there was result. Pakistan, South Africa did not last the entire duration, had a result, and then you had Afghanistan, Zimbabwe, which was pure runs, and 4 centuries, 2 double centuries says a lot.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just noticed the opener from Zimbabwe.
Sam Curran's brother?
That's the Curran brothers.
Sam Curran. I think we should probably do a bit of a history, episode where we can talk about players born in one country playing for the other country. This is again, Curran brothers is one of those where, because of their origins, they could opt to play for multiple countries, and brothers picked up different nations to represent.
That's crazy. Yeah. Did you have anything, Randeep? Still figuring out?
I'm still having network issues. I'm just trying to not mess up the episode.
I'm gonna say everything
I don't know what it is.
Today's just a bad day. Is all about mourning the loss. Just for everyone's benefit, Randeep went in, and me and Randeep went in on day 1 on a hot sunny day. We got our skins. I don't know how much you guys can see, but Randeep's double tan. He went in on Sunday on the last day as well. I can see. So the loss, as much as it hurts, more.
Randeep was commenting.
Randeep,
He
a lot more.
Oh, shit.
Fun times.
Yep, still reeling it in. Still hurts.
Raj, your audio is out now.
Cool. So, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up.
In which case,
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna take the honors
Yeah, I can
and
hear Raj.
run all of this
It's you,
up.
Charlie, not me.
And
In which case, I'm
despite
gonna
all
take the
the
honors.
technical issues, we've managed to see through an episode. We've vented quite a bit for the loss.
We've managed to see through an episode.
Don't know what to
vented
expect
quite a bit
in the upcoming
for
Sydney
the
test.
loss.
And yeah, this chances of India making it to WTC, the chances go slimmer and slimmer, and there's now more of luck to play a factor than the effort itself. So let's see what the time has to say. Next test starts in 3 days, and as we wrap up, this also is the end of 2024, kicking off 2025. So wishing all our viewers Happy New Year. May the new year be as great as, I don't want to say this, but Australian team's form, and not as Team India's form. Thanks everyone for tuning in again. See ya.
For tuning in again.
Thanks, guys. Bye.